So you go for a walk while you're in Leeds, and what do you find? A brewery! Yes, this is almost like coming home to Lords, or not coming home to Lords, going to Lords, or never mind, you know what I mean. So this is Northern Monk, and we're here to not buy beer, but to buy a t-shirt. This is the end of Leeds. You don't get to see very often, so we came down here. It's on the other side of this lot, these old chimneys here, and so sailed down, and we've got Granary Wharf here. Lots of building, lots of construction. It's one of those I don't know, throw up some ugly fucking buildings, I guess. But anyway, we're going back over there. That's the cake, or candle, sorry. The candle cake. Fucking hell, it would be a cake, wouldn't it? That's the candle. Going back to the boat, have some lunch, and then set off, I think we'll get to Castleford today. I don't think we're going to get to Wakefield, but Castleford's alright. And I've got my Northern Monk tie-dye transient t-shirt. How about that? Right, onward. Ended up moored right across the end of that little arm. Left a note saying, "Oh, I'm sorry." They was alright about it. They sent me a text saying, "No problem." Oh, well, leaving Granary Wharf. Smashing little lunch at Live in Italy. We're going the wrong way. Better turn around, boys and girls. Textbook turn. I'm getting good at this. Only been doing it 30 years. So, today, bit of a longer day. I do like Northern Monk Brewery. I love the aroma emanating from it. Sorry, it's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, so today anyway, we're probably not going to get much further than Castleford, but there's some really big locks. Anyone who's watched my previous forays into the canal network will know that these are big bloody locks on this stretch. And then big bloody locks when we end up going back down the River Aire to New Junction, where there's big bloody locks. We're not going to do that for a few weeks though. This little weekend jaunt is to Hebden Bridge, home of Vocation Brewery and Life and Death, which is one of my favourite kind of hop forward IPAs. But first, going back the way we came yesterday. Coming up in this lock last night, I was on my own, so that gate was a little bit open, so I just pulled in. I hate doing that, it's quite, I'll show you how low it goes. Lower than a Datsun's bollocks. And so then I had to climb up the ladder with the windlass. So what I did was tied the windlass to the rope, put the rope over my shoulder, climbed up the ladder and doing oofed. And then realised I needed the anti-vandal key to open the sluices that go underneath here. Not the lock gate paddles, but the sluices. And so I had to go back down the ladder, onto the boat, walk along the roof, jump down here to get the anti-vandal key, back along, up the ladder. Fucking hell. It was a bit of an ordeal. But there you go. In the dark, locking on my own. Well, there we go, a little bit of deja vu for you. I've got a joke actually about deja vu. I'd tell it you, but you've probably heard it before. Well, I'm guessing, could be wrong, but that's going to be the new Brewdog Hotel. They've got one in Manchester where they've actually got beer taps in the rooms. And by the way, Lost isn't the world's favourite beer. This vacant gesture from Harrison's Brewery. And yeah, I know I'm confusing my different themes on my channel. This is the boating theme, and I'm confusing it with talking about some of the brewery themes, but Brewdog have turned out to be quite arsehole-ish, James especially, in their attitude towards and behaviour towards their female staff employees. And they waited until it really, the point of no return was where it hit social media. If it hadn't done, if there weren't a social media outcry, Siobhan rings a bell, can't remember, then they would have done nothing about it at all. So, well done social media. One of those rare occasions of forcing an organisation, a huge now multinational organisation, multi-million turnover, to actually say, oh, we will learn the lessons. Oh, what's that? We will learn the lessons. Fucking hell. That's one of those things you hear every day now. What lessons are actually learned? Well, don't let things get onto social media, I suppose, is the first thing. And don't treat your staff like shit. And don't be a misogynistic wanker. Change your IKEA chair every now and then. Right, so we're on our way now down to lock number 1 on the Leeds-Liverpool. No, is it lock number 1 on the Air and Calder navigation? I'm never sure. I'll let you know when we get there, boys and girls. It's actually lock 1 of the Air and Calder navigation. I actually knew that. Oh well. Look, come on. Sun's out. Brain's not working, which is my default position as it happens. And last little moan at Canal and River Trust, who, when everywhere else is opening, can't be asked to open their office for boaters because they have that little regard for boaters. They really just don't care a fuck about boaters. In fact, they're actually anti-boater. If they weren't, then they'd have the office open and they'd sell £1 electricity cards for people staying in Leeds Dock just for a day. But all they'll offer is to sell you a £5 card online, which is just unhelpful, profiteering and unacceptable. Canal and River Trust, absolutely reprehensible. Here's a question, when they've got that there, why do they need that great big expensive perspex sign as well? Because Canal and River Trust fucking love signs and they love changing their branding. What they don't love is maintaining the waterways. I don't remember that bridge. Is that bridge new? Does anybody know if this bridge is new? I really don't remember that bridge. Strange. I like it though. Wow, I do like it. So this area down here has always been a little bit kind of grubby and whatever. And they changed the way that you go down to the next lock. They sort of like widen the estuary, if you call it that, because we're back on the river. This is the river now, the River Aire, and we're on this pretty much all the way to Wakefield, I think. And down on the right here, just past this building with JM written on the side, an awful lot of new builds, and I can see a time when all this industrial bits will be cleared, as it looks like they've cleared here, and they'll be extending all the housing as they're doing. I say housing, sort of shitty flats and stuff, like those fucking horrible things over there. Zoom out a little bit, and the remaining bits of the industrial bits here will be industrial history. So let's have a guess what this old canal-side warehouse. Yeah, don't need to guess. Luxury canal-side apartments. But again, and I do this every time, don't I? At least it means it will save the building. Impressive building. And then just behind is all these nice new builds. Bit windy. Right, coming up to lock number 2, and here's a treat. Look at this beast. Now that is one of the modern working boats, and you don't tend to see many of these, but thankfully they do still exist, because if they didn't, there would be very little reason to keep some of these huge locks working. Let's give you one of those little perspective things as we run along the side, just to show you the size comparison. It's huge. She's a big un. She's beautiful, but she's a big un. Look at that. Fucking huge. I love them though. I always have these little fantasies of, well, along with my other fantasies of having something like that and turning it into a kind of floating either home or club, or because it's just colossal. So there we are, Fusedale H. I'm guessing for Hull. And from now on, until we get to Wakefield, all of these locks are like this. This is another one of those nice little heritage centres. This is Thwaite Mill, and they used to have all these piss off, don't moor here signs, which have gone now, and they've got some visitor moorings apparently. I suppose that's there. It doesn't actually say, does it? But it looks like those are moorings which could be suitable for visitors. Look at this here, look. Again, commercial barge. I think that's a Gould, I can't remember, no, a Humber barge. I think that's what they're called, that's all. A Humber barge. And again, fairly sizable. But I think someone said, actually that looks longer than 60 foot. Someone said, because our Broadbeam, is that a visitor mooring? Can't see anything on there. not even that's faded. Yeah, because ours is 60 foot, so it might be, I don't know, it looks longer than 60 foot, doesn't it? Or is that a Sheffield? It might be a Sheffield kill. I can't remember, I didn't quite catch what it said on the front there. Wow, right, if it's a Sheffield kill, it's 60 foot long, because ours is a Sheffield kill and it's 60 foot long. You're doing that rambling on thing again. Now, just up here is one of the most unusual things you'll ever see on the waterways. Dredging. I know, like really, real life fucking dredging, like proper dredging. That's quite nice. Look at that, I like that, a little day boat. So look at this, they're dredging. I suppose they would be if there was anyone there. I haven't fucked off early. Today is Poets Day, it's Friday, Poets Day. Poets, as in piss off early, tomorrow's Saturday. Actually dredging. It's stunning, because it's just so unusual. Look at that. I think that is beautiful. I know I've got no taste, have I? But that is character. It's just character, old-fashioned sort of character. Yeah, well, they would normally be dredging. There's some bloody lovely little boats along here, you know, at Thwaite Mill. There's another one that looks quite old. In fact, all of these look fairly, I don't know what you call them, heritage type boats. That perhaps not so, but the little thing behind it, how unusual, and I think it has to sort of like be admitted impractical. But how lovely is that though? And those don't look fresh out of the, oh, that's I didn't know what that was. I was reading about this somewhere, I can't remember what. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. Right, so there we are, Thwaite Mill, and some dredging that isn't happening, but perhaps on a normal, because you know, like a full week for anything to do with Canal River Trust is usually from Tuesday afternoon to Thursday morning. So perhaps they are dredging on 2.5, occasionally 3 days a week. We live in hope. But there, dredging on the Aaron Calder navigation. We are about to go under the M1 again. I thought it'd be quite an interesting little quiz to ask how many times in this trip, since we left in April, May, whenever it was, I don't know, whenever it was, how many times have we been under the M1? And it's quite, unless you've sort of like sat down and worked through a canal map, it's probably a very, very tricky question. I'm not going to set it as a quiz because I don't want to sit down with a canal map and go through it. But it is lots. There you go, M1. Well, we're now headed toward Lemon Royd. It's 4 o'clock. I think what we do, we time how long it takes to get from Lemonroyd to Castleford, and then see whether we can perhaps chance our luck and bash on toward, is it Fairies Hill, something like that? I know there's a little marina there. We shall see. Somewhat later on, we left Lemonroyd 20 minutes ago. We're headed now toward Castleford. But look, this is all nice and new. It doesn't look it, but it's new since the last time we were up here. Good for them. Gonna see what time we hit Castleford. Once I've passed this here moored boat, I'm gonna slam some speed on again, and if I get to Castleford within probably 35 odd minutes from Lemonroyd, which is looking sort of possible if I get there in another 10 minutes, instead of turning left into Castleford, I'm going to turn right and head up towards Wakefield, and then go, I think it's Fairies Hill Lock or something. Well, that's the name of the marina, I think. So I'm going to head up that way, see if I can get there before it gets too dark. Only slight worry is that I might be sailing into the sun, which I always hate, because early morning heading east and evening heading west, not good. But we shall see. Right, I'm going to slam some power on now and see if I can get up to Castleford within the next 9 minutes. Ooh. Normally I would slow down when passing another boat. What a great shame to see that there, look. That was a beautiful boat at some point. Oh. Yeah, anyway, headed towards Castleford. The question will be, will I get there in the next 3 minutes? Have to wait and see which way I turn, boys and girls. Castleford Lock. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna cruise straight in, or are we gonna veer off to the right? I have to say, with a minute to spare, we're headed up towards Wakefield, and I know it's going to be into the sun. I'm going to hate it, but if it means we get to, oh fucking hell, that is going to be, this is going to be a bit painful, but hey, look at this adventure, boys and girls. Adventure. We should get to whatever it's called. We're not going to get as far as Falling, but we'll get to the first lock easily, and then I think the sun will just be too low to go on any further. It's actually dangerous sailing into the sun because it bounces straight off the water and will blind me. But at the moment, I think we're all right. So that's good. 35 minutes it took to get from Lemonroyd, which is a huge lock, and I'm sorry, I was on the phone to someone, so didn't video it. But 35 minutes from Lemonroyd to Castleford, and I think that's pretty good going. Might be exceeding the speed limit a teeny tiny titchy little bit, but fuck it. What a lovely evening. Let's make the most of it. Oh, that's the lock that goes into Ferries Hill. There's a marina up there, and we pass the other end of the marina after we've been through the lock. I rough guessed this at 35 minutes, which is why I did that. I wanted to know if I could get from Lemonroyd to Castleford in 35 minutes. It's 34 minutes. We're quite close to, I don't know if this is King's Road or whatever lock. I knew that was Ferries Hill, whatever, moorings, marina, whatever. But I think I have timed this reasonably bloody well. It's now, right, that's it, that's the 35 minutes. So I'm only a couple of minutes off getting into this lock. But I think that's alright. After all these years, I might be getting a little bit better at this. How about that? Cool. It's starting now to cool down. I've put a t-shirt back on. But I'm quite pleased with that bit of planning. Give myself a little pat on the back. Might have to give myself a nice little expensive can of beer to celebrate. I picked up some bloody expensive beers in Leeds. Oh. Really enjoyed Northern Monk. That is like one impressive building, like a totally impressive building. I think one day I'm gonna have to get a few people together and go for a weekend in Leeds. You know, like a weekend in Leeds. Do Saltaire Brewery, because Salt, not Saltaire. Saltaire's the one next to the canal. Salt is well, I took a little bit of video of it, if you remember, as we drove past. So we'll do Salt, and then we'll do Northern Monk, and there's a few others that might be worth a little explore over a longish weekend. Could be a very damaging longish weekend, so I don't do a lot of drinking during daytimes, but I could always make an exception and then be asleep for 7 o'clock at night. Right, here we go. We're going into this lock. That lock is very full. I'd better stick back along the landing stage, otherwise I'm going to be, when Charlotte empties that lock, I'm going to be thrown all the way across the cut. So I'll spin it around and then pull back up against the landing stage while I await. Look at that, that is uber full. Got something on the prop. Great. Something on the prop. Something on the prop, Marley. Right. Well, let's give it a few minutes. Wait for that to drain. Wee-hee! Our lock is ready, Marley. Yes, our lock is ready. I think this is King's Lock. Now, here's a story. There's I've put a time lapse on the Sheffield Narrowboats YouTube channel. If I remember, I'll put a link to it below. Of us leaving Sheffield, and one of the boats that we were leaving with, there's a couple on there. They just bought this little narrowboat and was enjoying it, and then they really did get into the waterways lifestyle, and they bought up here there's this lockkeeper's cottage. They bought it. They haven't got it now, but that's interesting. So, and I can't remember what he did. I think he worked away or something like that. Anyway, his wife, who was that, a cat's mother, used to bake cakes, and as boaters were coming up in the lock, she'd give them cakes. Oh wow, look at that. That's rather nice. That's like one of those feature walls. Oh, I do like that. That's quite therapeutic. Maybe that's a screensaver or something. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so they really got into the waterways lifestyle, and then suddenly they just disappeared. So no idea at all what happened to them. This is, look at the size of this lock. So we're now officially on the Wakefield branch of the Air and Calder navigation, and then after that we will be on the Calder and Hebden. But I think, I'm fairly sure, it's now 10 to 6. When we come out of this lock, I think we're going to be mooring up, because I don't want to run the risk of sailing too much into the sun, or it getting dark and us having to go through the next lock in the dark and then trying to find somewhere to moor in the dark. We've moored here before, it's quite nice. There's Madame Windlass going over to check, by the look of it, check on the moorings. Oh Marley, be quiet mate. God. Oh, going up slowly. Look at that wall. I just love that cascading water feature look. It does also mean, unfortunately, that this is coming from where it's porous on the other side, and at some point we're going to bump into that wall, Marley. There you go. And at some point, because it's porous, every time the water comes out, it will bring some of the whatever ground from behind, and that will just at some point collapse. Oh, sluices are open. Look at them pushing us around, Marley. They're pushing us around, so they are. What a beautiful evening. Oh, we're going to get pushed into that side of the wall next. Let's try and mitigate it a little bit by putting a titchy bit of power on. When those sluices open, they don't half chuck a little boat like this about. That's better. Yeah, so yeah, there's that little lockkeeper's house, cottage, whatever. Last time we come past, I think there's a new family in there, a couple of young girls and a few dogs and whatever else, so it wasn't the couple that we knew anyway. Not a bad place to live though. Oh, I know why we ended up mooring here, was that there was a power cut. I've got some video of that somewhere. There's complete power cut, so obviously the lock won't work when there's a power cut. and there was tractors going over the fields with generators and trying to find the fault and everything. So we ended up moored there overnight, and they fixed it probably quite late at night or early in the morning. Got up the next morning about 9 o'clock, all fixed. Oi. And we just and we sailed away, going back that way. Just as we came out of that lock, there's a big broad beam waiting to go in, and I knew the guy on the back, but I haven't got a fucking clue who he is. You know, well, I can't remember who he is. Weird. Anyway, we're going to go up to King's Lock, which is about another 20 minutes, and more there, while it's such a nice evening. And it is, look, what a bloody gorgeous evening. I'll Photoshop the colours. really bring the colours out. Now this is the top end of the Fairies Hill Marina bit. Years ago, when we first started coming up and down here, it was completely empty and not a single boat to be seen. Now it's chocker, pretty packed, which I suppose is good to see. I don't know who runs it, whether it's private or whether it's CRT. But look, isn't it nice to see? And the photos I've got, the photos I took originally, first time we came through here, all of those herringbones were just completely empty. So I'm not going to razz past this too quickly. Okay, they're private moorings. That's interesting to know. Which is probably much nicer than them being Canal and River Trust moorings, where you've got to do deals with the devil. Yeah, Fairies Hill, Altoft, I don't know. Right, off to King's we go. Not sure how well this will come out on the film, but what a blinding sunset. Beautiful, great beautiful.